Everybody here? I call the meeting to order
Oh, Connie's still
today.
outside.
Oh, where's Connie? That's
She wants to look at the picture.
OMG.
Oh, she's Gen Z, that's why.
Yes.
We are like, okay, whatever.
You sure she's Gen Z?
She just graduated.
Like, from college.
Is it not Gen Z then? I don't know.
Okay, let me
It's
go
a start.
get her.
It's a start.
Better? Fine. All right.
One of these people, a middle school teacher, I guess.
Yeah, I know, it's a terrible home. But my children are embarrassed all the time. Okay, well,
Our job.
I know.
we can't, can we go ahead and call, okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 4:03. Staff, can you do roll call?
Yes. Chair Hansen,
Here.
Vice Chair Fung,
That's it.
Commissioner Padguankar, Commissioner Carter,
Here.
and Commissioner Yang.
Yes, here. All right, so the first thing is the approval of the minutes. So can we start with item 1, June 16th, the 2025 commissioner meetings minutes? Can you pull them up? Thanks. Okay, so we'll review up here.
All right, I move to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, is there anyone that wants to make edits? Okay, so we can proceed with a roll call vote? Great.
Chair Hansen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fung,
Yes.
Commissioner Padguankar,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Yang.
Fantastic. Okay, do we have any postponements?
No postponements.
Okay, do we have any, we'll move on to staff and commission reports. Do we have any staff and commission reports?
Yes. Do you want to start? Do you have reports? I have quite a
Can I
bit.
close the door?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Let's see if I can find it. Wow.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
So many of you were there, but council did approve the post-collection services staff recommended action on June 17th. So starting in probably early 2027, when the garbage starts routing to the smart station, we will accomplish an action in the action plan. So
Yay, that's
nice to
good.
be able to check one off every once in a while.
Okay, we have several upcoming events. I wanted to make sure we're on your calendar. The paper shredding event, August 23rd from 8 to 12. That's the environmental recycling day one. Not mandatory at all, but we have them every few months. The creek cleanup is September 20th. If you wanted to volunteer and pick up trash. The garage sale is September 20th and 21st.
We have a big stuff in.
Yes, up on that table behind you. And then the next home,
Explain that. When you say creek, there are several creeks going to Cupertino, I believe.
Yeah, we have an event where we meet near Wilson Park and go along Regnart Creek.
you get to go down into the dry creek bed.
Okay. No, Regner Creek is near where I am, but it's way far away. So I just always, when you say creek, I'm always.
Yeah, we have a meeting point and we organize a volunteer driven event twice a year. So
Okay, great.
gather 9 to noon.
Okay.
Great. And then the last one is our home composting workshop on October 25th. I also wanted to say the budget was adopted. There's one main line item related to this commission. You have $1,200 for any sort of sustainability workshops or trainings for you, the 5 of you. If there's a conference or something that you wanted to attend that you thought was relevant, let me know and we can put it to the group and see who wants to attend. For example, the one that I emailed about that Vice Chair Fung and Commissioner Carter going to, that was $25 next month. So that's a good use of that fund.
Can we visit that smart station? I mean, probably not cost much, but.
We can talk about that. Would be a field trip if everyone went. It'd have to be noticed and something that we organize. So that's different than like a training, right? Our induction cooktop demo, the interactive with the two chefs was sold out. But we had 79 people in attendance, so that was great. The Cooper's Climate Quest, Clean Air Challenge and the VR that you all saw. I emailed earlier with a link to play the game. Commissioner Yang said you played it already, so hopefully you enjoy that and can find all of the behavior changes and appliances. If you hadn't heard already, the EV chargers that were supposed to go in at Sports Center, those were defunded. So that was one of the council's CIP projects that was just recently taken off their CIP list. The residential survey results for all of your work, we have consolidated most of the information and 767 responses were collected. Thanks to all of you, for all of your tabling efforts. We are putting that in a bigger memo to council for the city work program item, and I should have that out in the next month. So you can see all the detailed responses. Two more. The building energy, we talked last time about the residential law that was happening for residential existing buildings that the code couldn't change until 2031. Just wanted to let you know that did pass. So we do have limitations that we can't add new building code related to electrifying existing residential buildings. Or I should say making more energy efficient, any sort of wiring requirements, anything like that, we can't add until 2031. There are some exemptions that we're exploring if we could fit into those categories, but it's unclear at this time. Not likely. And then the last one, I'll read this, is about the active transportation plan. This September, we'll begin phase 2 of the project, focus on identifying and prioritizing specific infrastructure and programmatic recommendations. During the next phase, city staff will host additional community workshops and release a new survey to collect feedback on the recommendations. Phase 1 of the project ran from March 19th to June 5th and included 12 outreach events that engaged more than 1,300 community members and generated nearly 3,000 public comments. The community feedback is playing a foundational role in shaping a draft network concept, which will further refine and share in the fall for the community to reevaluate. In addition to community input, spatial analysis was conducted to assess existing conditions, identify unmet demand for active transportation, and determine where improvements would have the greatest impact. Ongoing community participation is crucial to ensuring that the final plan accurately reflects Cupertino's shared priorities. Please stay involved, join the mailing list, and help shape the future of transportation in Cupertino. So this is what our transportation department's working on. So this includes walking and biking and EVs. So they're doing a big plan for that. Hopefully you might have seen it at the events when we were tabling. They were kind of right next to us at some of them. So I will email you when that draft comes out of their plan in September for you to review and make comments on.
May I throw out something that it pertains to our electric?
We may move on to commissioner updates. What do you have?
The law that was going to, the PG&E wanted to use to renege on the contracts, solar contracts, failed. So they're not going to renege on the solar contracts. They wanted.
The NEM 2, NEM 3 rates? Yeah.
And so that might affect us city-wise financially.
I think we're grandfathered into it. So
Grandfathered into it, but you would lose. They would undo it.
oh, good.
That was what they were trying.
Okay.
And that's, so basically, so yes, we also, our house was grandfathered into it. But then they were going to be able to renege on that contract.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that one. Any other commissioner updates?
Are there any other commission reports?
So I just wanted to talk about couple of things. Just one thing actually. So Mayor Chow had a meeting about for all the block leaders and the other like emergency preparedness and all those volunteers. And there was a lot of talking about how this on network can be used. And one of the things I always talk about is kind of using block leader network for our outreach program. So it may be nice if we can actually go and in the city council, and if we want to like present and ask them like how we can use that. And it might be a good start now because it has kind of started. At least the talk and the conversation has started.
Okay,
All right,
Like in the block leaders are supposed to email stuff to their block, right? So whenever they are emailing, we can send like a newsletter or whatever, which they can forward.
all right. I don't have anything. No, silence. Okay, really quick, I went to the mayor's meeting yesterday. We had an agenda, but we spent the whole time talking about how we sent commission agendas. And so we didn't go through our agenda, so I have the report from all of the different commissions. If you'd like to, I guess that's available online then. We can send a link maybe,
okay.
just so we can find it. And then she handed out the 2024 Commissioners Handbook, so we would know what our roles and responsibilities are. I thought it might be worth it to read it. I think, not our commission, but I think they're just trying to make sure everybody knows what the guidelines are.
Great. Has everyone read that and received a copy?
We should have received it, right? Yeah.
But I just want to confirm.
I read it last time.
Okay,
I think I had to in order to become a commissioner.
yes,
It's the updated one, so.
Oh, it's updated.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, and that's all I have. So, all right, so, can we go ahead and move on to oral communications? Do we have any oral communications?
No, don't have any oral communications unless you want to speak to something generic.
No, I have a specific.
We get to that item.
We're almost there.
Okay, yeah, because this is the portion of the meeting reserved for people wishing to address the commission on any matters in the jurisdiction of the commission and not on the agenda. The speakers are limited to 3 minutes, but we don't have anybody, so. Okay, so since nobody wants to speak, let's go ahead and go on to written communications. Do we have any written communications?
We did have 2 written communications that were sent out earlier today. Did everyone receive this?
I did not have a chance to see this.
Yeah. One was the agenda and the other one was the game, was that?
Written communication is from people, right? Like from the public comments.
Okay, let me look, because I got something from plant-based
Yeah,
advocates, but it was more than one.
there,
Got like 6 or
I got
something, and it was the same format.
Yeah. Okay.
we got that too. I can share my screen and share the public comments. Okay, so we just had 2. I included, this was the plant-based one.
And that's the one we got like I think a lot of emails about.
And then,
Everybody said.
let me know when you're ready, I'll show you the second one.
Yeah, I read it earlier.
Can you make it a little bit bigger, sister? It's all right, should focus on supporting the city's only. People are doing that though, right? So, I
I
mean,
guess they want to do more.
no, I think you just say, Tab 2.0, it's in there. Right?
It's just hard.
There's a lot of words.
No, but it's just hard
Tease out.
to do, to get, I'm a bike advocate. And I go out now, it's blazing hot. Do I go on certain roads because it's dangerous? It's hard. So this is a long-term.
They want to be aware. That's what they care about.
Okay, no, I think the answer was, we were actively involved. I'm biking to work as much as I can.
The active transportation team will be doing part of that or?
And
The active
safe routes to school and the bicycle safety commission. And Leon.
Yeah. Project Zero, or that Cupertino is definitely hooked into the bicycle commission, bike head commissions hooked into that, where you make roads that,
We are spending so much money on so many things. Why don't we have buses?
So I'm gonna
That is-
ask that we refrain from getting into this topic right now.
Okay, so maybe just do a responsiveness to things that we have going on in the city.
Great.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, staff and commission reports, do we have any reports?
Done that.
We did that.
Oh, wait, we did that? Oh,
Old
no,
business.
old business, I'm sorry, I rewrote the cheater agenda. Is there any old business at this time?
No old business.
Okay, so we're on new business, so let's go ahead and proceed to item number 2. Discuss and set sustainability commission 2-year priority projects. Do we have a presentation?
We do. A brief one. Okay. So I just wanted to remind you all as we go through this conversation, what is within your scope and what's kind of without of your scope. So I bolded some words here. So continuous regional leadership and focusing on what's happening regionally, reviewing policies and programs, but not necessarily getting involved into the programs. Accepting public input to drive community awareness and behavior change and education, and also reviewing federal, state, and regional policies. So just to summarize, things that you're not pursuing on your regular agendas are operational. There's no like, hey, we're gonna go walk the streets with Recology and look in trash cans, right? That's like an operational thing that staff do. So going and doing a lot of the things, we just don't want to have you all going on from an advisory role as much as a doing role, but I know it's a little bit of a gray area because you guys want to do the things. So just kind of keeping that in mind. So I'm hoping to structure this conversation. I know there's a lot of content here and a lot of us have different priority areas. So I know if you received my draft of my list that I had pulled together, that list came from me going through our whole entire climate action plan and pulling what I thought was applicable based off of your guys' role and scope, plus what I know we have going on right now and how I think you can best support the commission. That's not, a comprehensive list. If you have other ideas, you're welcome to include them and suggest them. But I figured we would start with clarifying questions. That was the list I sent was pretty generic. You're like, what does that mean? We can go over any ones that you specifically want to call out and say, what would that look like? And then we'll go into public comment. And then we'll go into open discussion. So if you have things that aren't on the list that you want to bring up and add to the list, I gave everyone a copy, and on the back of that page has some blank lines. So then as we're going through and people do have a structured thing that they want added to the list, then you would write that in. And then I'm going to ask you all to vote by circling your 8 topics that you want to cover in the next 2 years. And then I'll collect them all and prioritize based off of what got in the most circles. Does that sound like an okay structure for this conversation? Okay.
Does anybody wanna?
So, with that, I'll stop sharing my screen and hand it over to clarifying questions.
We have a public comment on this item?
Questions come before public comment, sorry.
So can we go through the list and ask one by one or?
Yeah, exactly. So if there's ones that you want explained more, what would that look like on specific items? That's what I'm here to clarify.
So I have a couple clarify.
Yeah,
Okay. One was number 4 on building energy.
okay.
There's progress updates on energy benchmarking. I mean, are we commenting on it? Or who's doing the updates?
So the idea of these are things that will shape the future agenda items for the commission meetings. Right? It's like how city council puts together a city work program of things they want to talk about. So for that one specifically, it would be you receiving the project updates on energy benchmarking and understanding where we're at in that process, how it's
Okay,
going.
I got it.
You know, things like that as we still have to develop that program and get direction from council. So that one's not for sure that it's even going to move forward, but that would be a big one.
Okay, so that's basically, okay, so I marked things in 3 different colors. One of things that, based on my previous commission stuff that I expected,
Okay,
those were things like, review and, yeah, everything that said review, I hadn't read things, or study session on state legislation, or study session on that. Those are things very specific to me, in all the reviews and studies, very specific stuff. And then the stuff that was, I have in, blue are things that I'm beginning to understand that this part of my, maybe this is things that I should be adopting in my brain as being part of our things. Promote Cupertino's climate, via flyers and going out, basically. So all the blue ones like distribute information, connect with your neighbors, report broken EV chargers, that sort of stuff is almost an advocacy thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
so for that, I was thinking we would come with those topics to an agenda and say, this is how you report a broken EV charger. Right, so we could have a conversation about how many reports have we gotten recently and who is reporting, and then having you do some of the advocacy work, or if you see a broken charger, then you're more familiar with the topic.
Okay, and then the yellow were more oblique to me. I mean, like share success stories with staff. Make public comment to support the sustainability. What does it mean to make a public comment? Promote walking. What does it mean to promote? I mean, these are like,
Yeah,
they were to me, they were extremely vague.
they are vague.
And recruit friends, and I'm going like, oh boy, okay.
So
I mean, so
Right,
those are the 3 categories I had.
absolutely, I think that makes sense. And that one could be more under that last, like powers of jurisdiction of like promoting, educating, helping us do the project, right? So recruiting friends, if we're hosting a Fix It clinic and you are out in the community talking about these things and talking about why it's important to fix things, you can just forward us emails, send us phone numbers. That helps us connect with the community more. You're kind of our eyes and ears, so we want to be a partner on this instead of working in a silo.
Okay, so this is a little bit different from the bicycle commission that I was working on, which is fine. I need to be retrained.
We're shaping it. If you want to not prioritize that one, that's totally fine too.
No, it's fine. And on the last question, I only had 2 question marks. The other one was advise on regional transportation network opportunities. And,
I think that one came
I mean-
directly from the CAF.
okay, and I'm just need a little bit more clarification what that means.
If that's a high priority for you, working on regional transportation. So we could talk about active transportation plan and how that fits in regionally. So maybe we could do some work with the VTA or find out what's happening at a regional level. So that would be more like a study session.
Which brings me to the point of we're overlapping other groups.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Sustainability is good, right?
sustainability is big, but stepping on toes is politically damaging.
yes.
And so I'm assuming that you're going to help manage soft shoes.
Yes, I think that where it comes in, like, we're not talking about building highways or connecting with signs or freeway connections or traffic studies. We're focused more on specifics of like promoting biking and how that fits in. Like VTA has a sustainability plan. So we could comment on their sustainability aspect. We're not trying to do what Bike and Ped is doing at all. And so I would structure that.
Like where when you look at your website, you put links to their publications.
So that was the set of a clarification question.
Perfect.
I like to think of sustainability as being the guardrails on the overall process of living. And so if we have the sustainability umbrella or guardrails, everybody goes in there and we just kind of focused on what's the best thing. I really feel that. So, does anybody else have any questions, any clarifying questions?
I got a couple. So under ways, number 4, report businesses that are not compliant with the city's foodware ordinance. Do we have like an estimate right now on how many businesses are non-compliant or so?
So I'm hoping if that one was chosen, that we could put together a report for you. So we could do the report and then we can also teach you how to use Cupertino 311 and do reporting. That would be kind of a combination. I don't have an exact number at this time, but we are under contract with a consultant to be out in boots on the ground, working with all these restaurants.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I think that's important.
And then with regards to under the first category, emissions, number 3, study session on state legislation. This study session, I'm assuming is more for, if we were to pursue this one, is to inform the commission what are the new legislation that, you know, Sacramento or DC are considering. That's what it is, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's one of your main functions and powers is recommend state legislation and understanding regional policies and procedures. So it's not something we talk about a lot, but I think, and it's always evolving and changing, but just to bring it to your attention that is something we can talk about.
So if we do 3, 1 comes in under that umbrella, right? Because then we'll be looking at greenhouse gas inventory, we'd have to compare it when we do the study.
No, so the state legislation would be me coming in with a bunch of AB 306 and what that means, and AB 1572 and what that means. Where our greenhouse gas inventory is something that is a whole, like a 6-month project I'm working on to pull in all of our Cupertino specific data. So like how many EVs we have in the city versus gas cars and how many vehicle miles traveled we have in Cupertino. It's really specific.
Okay.
And so we update that every 3 years. I go through all those metrics and then do a methodology on how that works. And that's how we get our projections on if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay. That's it, Sonali, you have any questions? Huh?
Let's move right on to highlighting.
I like the success stories one. I think that one,
Which one?
the number 6 for building energy. I think like any case study, like real, anything that could be related as much as possible, even if it's like a small story, I think that is what impacts people the most, right? You can throw all these numbers, all this data stuff at them. It's like, oh, the past 20 years, but I think what they latch onto the most in terms of what grabs their attention is stories and what their neighbor is saying to them.
Positive feedback.
Yeah, there's so much like, oh, we should improve this, but like, are we taking the time to like look back and be like, hey, look what we've accomplished, you know, for City of Cupertino and the staff members and stuff. So yeah, just wondering.
Okay, no other questions?
Oh.
All right, we have a public comment. If you want to step on it, you're welcome.
Standing up and
It's up to you, wherever you're comfortable.
good evening, respected members of the Sustainability Commission. My name is Seema Ved. I'm the president of a local nonprofit called A Compassionate World, or ACW, with a mission to enlighten individuals to make sustainable, cruelty-free, and healthier choices, enable animal welfare and rescues through global grassroots level partner organizations, and empower artisans facing socio-economic challenges to sustain themselves and their family. I'm here today on behalf of ACW to speak about a growing global initiative that could significantly support our city's sustainability goals, the Plant-Based Treaty. Already endorsed by 42 municipalities around the world, including cities like Los Angeles, West Hollywood, and Hoboken, this treaty encourages a shift towards plant-based diets as a practical, sustainable solution to protect our environment. Now, why is this important? Plant-based diets are estimated to produce 75% less greenhouse gas emissions and require significantly less water and land use than animal-based diets. In cities like New York, we've seen the impact firsthand. Their Plant-Powered Fridays program has led to a 40%, actually 42% reduction in carbon emissions per student. West Hollywood has made plant-based food the default at their city-sponsored events, and Hoboken is using public campaigns to highlight the climate and health benefits of plant-based eating. But this is not about asking everyone to become 100% plant-based overnight. Instead, it's about simple, achievable changes that can have a massive impact. The idea is to increase the availability of plant-based options in public institutions and also raise awareness through educational campaigns. When we all work together, small actions can lead to large-scale positive changes. At ACW, we are keen to partner with the City of Cupertino to endorse the plant-based treaty and integrate these principles into our local sustainability efforts. We can add Cupertino to the growing list of cities that are achieving their sustainability goals through this powerful initiative. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. We are excited about the potential impact that we can have, and I look forward to working with you all towards a more sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Okay. Do you want to move on to discussion then? Or do we have any other public comments?
No public comments.
Okay. You want to move on to commission discussion? About the topic? Does anyone have anything they want to say? Or whatever she said? Yeah. I mean, do we have to wait and postpone to make it business in the next meeting? Because it's not on the agenda.
What you said?
Yeah.
So, and this, because you're talking about 2-year priorities, I think someone could say, yes, I want to have a priority that matches the community value. You're not supposed to respond directly.
Right.
So I would suggest starting with, if anyone brought additional items, I said, you bring 2 items to this discussion. If you have things to add that you can write in on those blank lines. And then, if you want to try to persuade your peers on why your topics are important.
Let's have the battle. I can start. So if you remember, Andrew had started a toned down version of CAPS, which was easier for everybody to understand. Right? Is that done?
The website? Yeah, that's the climate now. That's number 2.
That's the climate now?
In general.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it possible for give like in the staff update? Because anyway, we meet after 3 months, right? So is it something going on with the CAP 2.0 plan? Like we had one thing which is we did last quarter, right? For the CAP plan, which is the smart thing, smart. So, I mean, is there any road path to that 2030 cap 2.2 plan that we were talking about?
Like an implementation plan? No, we don't have a direct implementation. Other cities do pay consultants and develop like a 2 to 5 year plan. We have just been doing, since our budget crisis, have been prioritizing based off of how it's phased. So phase 1, 2, and 3, and then what's within our capacity budget. But that's kind of why I'm trying to shape the rate. Like a lot of these came from our climate action plan. So if there's ones that you want to see happen in the next 2 years, that's how we're shaping what we do.
Okay.
So were you adding an idea there of like a cap progress update? Is that what?
It almost sounds like number 6, right? But even though it's under building energy, it's success stories. That maybe that should come up under general climate. Share updates to cap, right? Under
Yeah.
energy, move item number 6.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, it would keep the cap into people's mind. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, we all have busy lives, and every time you come up with a announcement about this positive thing happening,
Yeah.
it just reawakens people that, oh yeah. This
So,
is,
yeah, number 6 should read, share success stories with respect to CAP 2.0. Right, so we can celebrate that from sharing the newsletter. Does that make sense? We
Yeah.
put it up at the top and then we get our status.
It's not like a law, it's like one bullet is okay. Fine. Because I'm not, because of the crisis, budget crisis, not seen anything, right? Otherwise, when I was in my first term, we talked a lot about it and how we are progressing.
I think what, if I'm correct to say this, you want more of a general cap update on how many of our actions and measures have we achieved so far, how many are in progress, and how many are planned in the future.
Have success.
We do an annual report to council and it's PDF. We normally post it in like November, December. So it sounds like you just want that PDF to come and be a conversation of like, here's all the things we've done in the past year and here's all the things we're doing in the next year.
Could be done in the form of an email or staff report.
Okay.
And then like a percentage, like whatever, how much is we have obtained or how much we have to do more.
Okay.
I just don't wanna make more work because if there's only 2 people doing it, we slow down the work by getting the reports.
They're anyway sending it, right?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
If you're anyway sending it, that's fine. But it should be like not very long.
Yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about what everybody, including the speaker, has mentioned. It seems like, we don't have a lot of resources, but we also cannot operate in silos. But to what Jack mentioned, we also need to be careful about stepping on the toes of the other clinicians. My point is, I've been writing a couple of things down, and my thing as the business rep, there needs to be something with business engagements, whatever it is. I feel like one of the goals needs to be business engagements. And I'm glad that we're gonna have somebody on the economic development committee, whoever that is. I think that's a start, but we need to do more to engage the businesses. I love what Connie mentioned about success stories. There's a part about how us as residents get drowned a lot in a lot of information. But I feel like we can do a better job in helping the city to inspire others to share these stories. To think about long-term sustainability for the residents and the businesses. So I think there's a branding piece, and the success stories is a good implementation action. And my last thing is we need to also focus on building relationships, right? I love that staff is sharing with us these opportunities to go to conferences, just to network and get ideas and come back. So my spiel is I don't really have any specific actions I'm advocating for, but whatever we agree as a group should focus on those overarching items.
So my second thing is, I always say the same thing for a long time. So I always want to focus on the waste because that is one of the things we can easily achieve. So is there, what is the number of people who are on our email list? Do we know?
The green newsletter,
Uh,
last time I checked, it was 900 and something.
That's a good number, but still not enough, right? So that's the one of the things I really want to. So I like all the things you have listed under waste. I circled all of them. So so recruit friends and family, and as I was saying, lot of people when we were doing tabling come to us and say they're interested in volunteering, and I kind of said, right, so in elementary school, what we have, this is called art docent. So you enroll as like, or the project cornerstone, where people will go get educated and then they spread the news, spread it around, like in they go to each class and teach. Basically, it's something like that. So the block leader program was one of the things. We have about some 200 something block leaders. So not 200. What Marta said? I don't remember. But yeah, so we have a good number of block leaders, and a lot of this side, Monta Vista side, is covered pretty good actually. So that is one of the things we should see. And then so this is like the promote waste sorting guide, right? So we can promote it, but then we can actually, if people are not, we sending flyers is not going to help. That's what I'm saying, right? So
Okay.
and I also always said that we have AP environmental science in all our schools, high schools, and high school kids are looking for internships, right? Like in Cupertino, that's what they want because they want to get into good schools. So it's a win-win situation for us and them, both. So the youth climate action, right? Only instead of using them only on the Earth Day, I mean, we should look at it to use them as a proponents in school. In school, if the email comes from the teacher or if the emails come from the principal, the parents will read them, right? Because that's how it is. And I really would like to incorporate if something in the but that's a big ask, not going to happen.
Yeah,
It'd be hard for-
so I guess I'm trying to figure out if you could propose that as an item that would come to this commission. Right, we could, in my head, promoting the waste sorting guides, that would be bringing it to this commission as an agenda item to understand what guides we have, how we use them, things like that. Not necessarily going to the people and educating with the guides. It would end up being more of like, here's all our guides for you to help distribute.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but then distributing guide is like, if you have something on 311, like I am having so many issues and I'm a good sorter, right? So recycling is a big problem. So how can we update the 311? If you are really talking about waste sorting guides, one of them has to be in 311. Like,
The reporting app?
Or
Yeah,
like to
some-
ask a question, like. some
Yeah,
sort of way
something,
to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
sorting
just
question.
use like now so much ML stuff is going on. All these high school kids, the college kids, they really want to do a project. Just ask somebody to do a project, like how can you use AI ML to look at something and tell you how they can recycle, how people can recycle it. When there's so much information is available, so much technology is available. I mean, how
One
can
of the simple things is to put a sticker on a can. Honestly, a sticker with a picture, but that costs money.
Yeah, I mean, and then the audits that we used to do, so that is one thing can be, one of the things can be like how we can bring like the audits. So we don't want to do audits. The thing is that you need to do it consistently, right? That 1 year we went to do in the Chair Susan's class and we did it, and you probably did it. But if you integrate it in the school syllabus, it's going to happen. Like you won't be here, I won't be here in 10 years, but it will still, and that is what we want.
So for school and city, I think they're different purviews. I think that we can't.
No, I mean, I understand that, like, I am in this commission for 4 years and I was in PTA, I know how slow things work, right? But somebody has to make a start somewhere. So next, in 2 years, I will not be here in sustainability, but it has to kind of keep on going, right? So sometime down the line, in 10 years, it will happen. Otherwise, it will never happen.
Yeah, because the school curriculum's decided at the state level. And the only thing I can see is trying to learn the state policies that are happening if there's any around sustainability curriculum.
So there are stuff that we can, the teachers have some leeway of doing it, not like, I'm not saying, okay, here is the thing what I was thinking, and I might be taking a lot of time here. But like, for example, kindergarten kids, send a paper home asking them what you will put where. That's it. The kindergarten kids will do only that. Then first graders will have something more, second graders will have something more. So each year, every quarter they send one paper home. You know,
Yeah, and also it's kind of operational because we're contracted with Recology. They are supposed to go into schools and do this education to every school as the schools request it. Right, so they can't force the schools to do anything, but they are moving forward with both the high school and the Cupertino Unified School District to get into more schools. So it is happening, but I'm not exactly sure how that could come to this agenda or to this commission.
so that is what is happening, right? Everybody is working in their stuff and there is no communication. So finally, I don't know, after 10 years, we will only say that, okay, the ecology is doing something, we still don't know. So-
I think it's the umbrella of what do we know, like when we're looking at successes, we know that ecology is working on it. I think.
There is nothing tangible here,
Being
right?
in the schools, it's very difficult. I would think maybe approach PTA and see if they want to do that. They have purview over clubs. I mean, if you could get the kids to do something like that, or,
I
You might
understand,
have
I
to
understand,
know
yeah, I understand all of that.
Yeah,
The
and-
thing is that, see, AP Environmental Science is there is a club youth climate action plan in high school.
Right.
So at least we can use those two. We can talk to the teachers or somebody there at school, approach one school and say, we want to do this. How can you help us? Or can you help us or not? Okay, you cannot help us, forget about it.
No, I think the thing with the ACE class is that the kids take the leadership and decide what it is that they want to do as their driving project. It's not all waste, it's all kinds of stuff, right? So,
Let it be, but we can always guide them, right?
Is the issue that I have is my kids went to Cupertino Union School District and they went to Fremont High School District.
High school district.
Those schools are not, they're taking kids from all the adjacent,
That is
towns.
true, that is true.
And all of this, and right now, we do not have a regional plan for recycling. We just don't. It's
That
just-
is true,
it's-
yeah.
It's different, and we don't get, and I think that's what we're working on, if we don't get the foundations. I've seen it in work. Somebody tries to do recycling and that recycling just gets thrown away in the trash. And they stop recycling. So we need to have the foundations in place, and that's one of the things we work on. In this, when we're talking about what Cupertino is starting to do more things that are with some of the other adjacent things. Once we get a regional plan and get support from the school districts will be more, I think.
Yeah.
Things like they'll have everybody will have the same color canisters. And you just start learning over and over and over again.
so where would that fit in, if we're looking at like having a uniform waste sorting? Because, I mean, as Jack says, that's part of the problem going. Cupertino Union School District is 5 cities, and so they all have different, we're Cupertino, even though that's the overarching name. Each one of the cities has their own waste sorting plan, so I think it would be very difficult to install. So,
I think
clarifying question.
Yeah.
This may be a silly one, but some cities, I know they have schools committees that council members sit on to connect
Yeah.
with schools.
School site council?
Yeah, do we have something like that for
The
Cupertino?
school site council in Cupertino
It's
is,
required by all of them in order to.
is they don't do anything. I was in school site council, committee for 2
Well,
years.
that's an,
I
we
see.
can't do anything there. And I don't think we can seriously overstepping, so I'm not sure if this is.
Can I make a recommendation?
Mhm.
I think a great one to add into the line items would be a study session on what our franchise agreement says and includes. So you guys understand what is already happening, what Recology is responsible for and what we're doing. Cause that's a policy, that's within your scope. That contract ends in 2030. 2031. So it won't be possible to make changes now. But I think it's good that you understand that policy. So that's a write-in that you wanna do.
So the last thing, one thing I want to say is, I like this study session on the state legislation.
Yeah, let's take a vote.
Yeah, so I would like to have like an email about one legislation every month, so I can read it, and if I have question, I can ask. Because I would like to know about that.
The state.
No.
Okay,
So we cannot discuss all of them probably.
Right.
It's hard. So if we can take one and just kind of
Okay,
explain in an email, we can.
okay, so, I think we had a process on how we were gonna prioritize this.
okay. Did everyone get their 2 items that they want? Is anyone else want to add?
Well, I want to throw out two things that won't go anywhere, but I still want to voice them. I mean, they're not even. I even with my 2 things or 8 things will not be on that, but and there's an overriding thing for me for urban forest issues, and it's sort of like natural systems number 2, study climate adaptive trees, make recommendations, but urban forest things is near and dear to my part for just livability here. And one of them is burying, and this, like I said, it's not gonna happen, let pigs fly, but burying overhead lines. You see butchered trees and stuff, but also it's not only about the trees, it's also about the effect on traffic. If you go down Stelling, make a right on Rainbow or left on Rainbow, you'll have to really look for the light. And just it's old. It's from my childhood, those overhead lines.
Yeah.
They should be not there anymore. That's just one of them. And then the other one is a cement plant closure in our purview? Okay, so then strike that one out.
Yeah.
Okay, that would have been a big one for me but I know the overhead wires are not gonna happen in my lifetime, but I had to bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily within the sustainability scope. But
Well, it's also it butchers urban trees. If you see the lot, you see this tree that should be like this, but it's like this.
Our arborist calls that Mickey Mousing.
Yeah, yes. Yes, so, and it's a issue of if it hits. And once in a while, there's a fire started because of this, those big canister things are up there, what do they call them?
Silence.
Yeah. Every once in a while, one of
It's where
them
they run
blow up and
the
everything,
clinker through to dry,
Yeah.
the dust recaptures.
the on the poles, they have the big
Oh, I thought
condensers.
you were talking about the cement plant, the transformers.
Yeah, no, the cement plant, it's not our purpose.
Yeah, it's,
But anyway, I'm just saying, there are a number of issues that do affect us in terms of sustainability and lifestyle. But I had to say it. Now it's done.
okay. Alright. So,
Okay, so if you're concluding with comments, the next part of that is to prioritize. So if you would make it very clear for me and circle 8 that you think are your top 8.
do you have another paper?
Yeah.
No. Oh, did you?
I put a permanent permit.
Are you printing?
All right,
Either one.
okay, I got it, thanks.
All right.
Got my 8.
And I will tally
Well,
those.
Mr.
and
Pryor,
let you-
check some 1 through 8, not, is that too hard?
Whatever, it's gonna be that you both, all of you need to come
Okay,
together on.
all right.
I'll let you know via email what the results are.
I have a question about the review draft building permit streamline policy.
Yes, we're working on that.
What,
So there's a regional statewide effort. It just got denied at the state level on how to streamline building permit language so that people can electrify easier. Does that make sense? Connie, your nose, I mean, you didn't highlight those, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I should do it.
Feel like I just took a test and then I dread the answers later on.
All right, Chair, when you're ready.
Okay, so we don't need to make a motion on this because we just.
Correct.
All right, so, let's go ahead and move on to the next item. Subject item number 3, discuss and make a recommendation to appoint a sustainability commissioner to the EDC, the Economic Development Board.
We have no presentation.
Okay. So we need to select someone.
so what is the frequency of that?
Are there any clarifying questions? Yeah, Dee.
It is written to be quarterly and or as special meetings are called.
So far, they're still looking for the other 5 community members, right? So they've got 6 applications is what I heard last night in the mayor's meeting. But they're not, there's 5 areas, so there's some redundancy in those 5 areas, so they're still looking. Okay, does anyone, does anybody wanna volunteer? Or do you wanna be volunteer?
Well, it is my wheelhouse and I'm definitely interested, but I want to be equitable. And I know I'm already serving in a 5-year position, so I think it's an opportunity for the other commissioners if you're interested. I'll do it if the commission wants me to, but like, I think other commissioners who are not serving an official role, this would be a good opportunity to network.
I like to be. I'd be open to supporting you and backing you up.
Do you wanna do it?
Oh, I thought you volunteered.
No, I'm.
Oh, I thought you volunteered.
Okay.
No, I said I'm supporting, I support. No, I mean, because that is economic related. I was wondering if you will be the better candidate.
Okay,
I mean,
So what goes on in these?
we don't know yet because they haven't passed.
Still new.
So what we decided is that instead of having 2 city council members, we're down to 1 city council member. TIC, planning.
Oh,
plus-
I'm sorry,
And then
that,
5 others, I guess. Yeah, and then I guess whatever staff.
So the thing is that we cannot rotate, so we were
Yeah.
thinking that, no, we'll have a position. And if somebody cannot go, the other person can, but that doesn't happen.
Except for, yeah, it's actually
It's
supposed to
only
be
one person who will go.
It's 4 extra meetings. Can you add it? Are you okay with that?
well, I'm looking at this, so it seems like the first term would end on January 30th of next year. So whoever is serving in this position really is only going for 2 meetings. And then the next person could come in and do that. So, but yeah, Jack, if you were, I know it seems like you were interested from the previous.
I'm interested, it's tough when your kitchen is just being ripped apart that you say like, I have lots of time. So I'm willing to do this. And I'm going to lean on the rest of the commissioners. Advice, yeah, as we, like get feedback about what's going on and get feedback, because I'll be the representative, right?
We have a sense of when their first meeting will be?
That's
They're
what
not
they
even,
haven't even formed their
They
committee
haven't
yet.
formed-
they're not even blessing who's gonna be on it until
Right.
September, right? So
So, okay, so it's not gonna happen this summer, then I'm sure you're fine.
So these are my thoughts. I think it's a great opportunity for another so I don't mind attending, but at the same time, I feel like it's a great opportunity for somebody outside of economic development. Like, well, I also understand sustainability, but I think it's a great opportunity if someone else from this commission is interested in to sit on it. And I can always provide, feedback and support if, whoever is serving on it.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I'm interested, but I don't have like Connie, it would probably be
I
great
don't think I
resume,
would have-
it'd be great resume material. I don't do resumes anymore. So,
Because your mental resume,
but basically, I get interested in I'm interested in a lot of things. And so this would be, I'm more than willing to do this, but what I don't want to do is push anyone else out.
Clarifying question for staff, can you do delegate and then alternate? Or that's not what we're doing, right?
So we actually can only make a recommendation for which commissioner we want, and then council gets to actually select. So even if we recommend Jack, they could select us.
Yeah, they know me, so they might go,
Just saying,
But how often would they really?
would they,
Defy a commission's recommendation on an appointment?
I don't know, I don't think so.
yeah, so,
but they haven't,
I don't-
they're still trying to get other members to join.
I don't think they're doing substitutes. I know for regular commissions, they dropped the. What,
That is true.
the second,
That's how it sounded like when we went for the meeting. It is not like one's sustainability commission position and then whoever can, but it's not like that. So whoever has committed, that person has to go.
Well, you were inferring that it was 2 years or something like that in the meeting, but it's not clear again, because they have never got it started, so.
It's not, I don't think we should even worry about the longevity because they don't know what's going on.
So do you volunteer?
Yeah, sure.
It sounds like-
All right, do we have a motion?
Yes. I can pass the motion. I can start. the motion. We
Okay.
recommend Jack as Commissioner Carter.
I second.
Okay. Do you want to call a roll call vote, or should we just do a oral vote?
you can do an all of it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions?
I should say nay at this point.
Abstentions. Okay, so motion passes.
Yeah, a lot of discussion went on. You were there that day, right? Ursula was.
Mm-hmm.
On how many people should be there on the commission. So
Okay, so motion passes. Sustainability is going to put forward Commissioner Carter. So it sounds so,
Right.
so official.
Oh, congrats, Jack.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so the next one is volunteer to attend a regional sustainability meeting. Is this the conference or the workshop that's happening?
This is on August 9th, right? You said.
This is different.
Okay,
Oh, this is-
Alright. So this is something that to promote regional efforts and understand what's going on. I think that in the past, we've had commissioners who served on BTA boards or understood, they worked with CDP reporting. They understood more of the processes that went into what the commission and what the staff do and understand the regional, and were able to, during the commissioner updates, say, hey, here's what other regions are working on. So I want to emphasize that this is absolutely volunteer. And so this is just to make you all informed that of some opportunities of things that you could volunteer to get in a part of on a regional level. So that being said, there's 5 that we've identified, with 1 for each sector. And I'll go through the 5 just briefly. You don't have to go to all of them. Thankfully, all of them have a virtual meeting or a virtual option, so you could tune in occasionally and try to pick up some things. This is not a hard and fast that you're voting, you're not a member who's been appointed, but they're good to be aware of. So VTA has a bike and ped commission. They did just recently adopt a cap. So we made a comment on that sort of thing as a commission. We said, hey, this is what Cupertino's Sustainability Commission thinks about VTA's cap, and went that way. The Recycling and Waste Reduction Commission. So this is one that encompasses all of the South Bay. So all of you, if you're really interested in waste, want to learn what the other jurisdictions are doing and how we're collaborating together. They go for all sorts of waste reduction. They do stuff with HHW. They're the ones who help with the composting program and organizing that funding. They do a lot with SB 1383 laws. Silicon Valley Clean Energy, hopefully you know who they are by now. So you'll learn about electric bill rates and where your power comes from, and all of their programs for both EVs and buildings, so that they talk about legislation on a regional level and what's coming down from the state. So if you're interested in electric bill rates, Valley Water has a couple different committees, but this one is the closest to water conservation. So they talk a lot about water storage and the rainfall measures and things about how we're storing water and where our water is coming from. So they do sometimes bring back the water conservation committee when we're more in drought time. So this one's a hybrid that they just combined with another committee right now. So it's might be a little bit less relevant, but there is a big state water bill coming down the pipeline. That's banning watering turf, or sorry, all grass. And then there's a regional water board if you want to go into water quality, pollution prevention, drinking water quality, things like that. So that one's a little bit even broader. It covers all of North Bay as well. So that's really just focused on San Francisco. And that is it. If you want to ask questions about what the meetings do, or you think, you want to say, I know of this other meeting that's happening that you should check out, and collaborate amongst yourselves on what you think. We just went over these priority projects and you're like, hey, all my priorities were in waste. Maybe you want to learn more about waste. So wherever you focus your efforts and the commission focuses their efforts, it's good to get some more context besides what I bring to your 1-hour meeting every quarter.
So do we need to enroll or anything, or anybody can join, or?
Anyone can join, anyone can watch them. They're all live streamed. So you can watch part of it. This is all just to inform you on options to help educate and get more informed when we bring these items to you.
And you will send us the links and all that.
Yeah, if you want to volunteer for one, you can send me an email and I'll send you the exact how to join information.
It would be nice if we, not that, if we divide, because then,
Right.
is staff going to any of these now?
Occasionally, I enjoy the MOG, or not the MOG, I'm sorry, the SBCE one. I normally watch online. I know Ursula goes to them occasionally, every time,
Yeah.
as many as I
Every
can.
time, and I tune into the Recycling and Waste Reduction Commission.
We typically have our own staff versions of these, so. Like the waste one, this is the advisory board, but Ursula works on the staff version to support that advisory. Recycling. Reduction committee. Mission.
So since we're tuning in, there's no quorum concern, right? Because we're all just going as attendees.
Yeah.
And,
I think we
and
can divide and conquer.
to extend our knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the waste one.
Yeah.
And then we would have a mission
It's
report.
not mandatory, it's as you can. So I'll go back to the first slide of when they're available. I know some of you work and some of.
Yeah, is it in the evening?
Day.
Yeah, 6:30, that's a good time. Yeah, 5:30, that's a good time, yes.
I like the VTA one, the bike fed. I'm interested in that one.
Okay.
Is there any hazardous waste groups? I don't know what the agency name is.
The Recycling and Waste Reduction Commission talked a little bit about HHW.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
If you want, I can look into it. If you.
So bi-monthly is one of those terms that has two meetings. Does that mean twice a month or once every 2 months?
Every other month. Semi-monthly.
Wow,
Maybe that doesn't help.
that's just as bad.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, does anybody want to volunteer to attend any of those?
Yeah, I can do the waste reduction one.
Wait, sorry, there's a few of them. You said all of them get canceled. Which one of those? You said many. There's a few slides.
Previously, the waste one has gotten canceled. I think they're more active right now. They have picked up. And I believe it was the Valley Water one that got canceled a lot.
Okay. Is there a lot of overlap between the Valley Water and the regional water board?
Yes, so Valley Water also works on pollution prevention, but the water board specific, like, focused on water quality. Valley, and I tried to find this one is more about water conservation.
Yeah. Do
So
we also cover stormwater?
that would be the regional water board, yeah, stormwater.
Using any HUMV meetings would be helpful. That's not really,
Oh, air quality.
Air quality?
yeah.
I thought about putting that on here. If you're interested in like spare the air day or understanding air quality filters, we haven't pursued that effort for any of our air quality measures. We don't have wood burnings of like stove bans or anything like that. But we, when we went into our energy regulation, what we proposed what was it, fall? We thought about doing the NOx approach, right? That was regulating air quality. And we decided against it because it could be challenged more. There is conversation. I thought about adding that one. So if that's something you're interested in.
Somewhat curious.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So I'm interested in the SVCE
Okay.
because it's not something it's something that I've invested in at home, but it's not something I know a lot about.
Great.
Yeah. I know I cannot do the daytime ones, so. Unfortunately. If I did the regional water board, I can only do it for 30 minutes.
Yeah, those are long.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm teaching, so I'm
Oh, what are your priorities?
making sure I pass on the trip to Taiwan. Cause I can't take 5 days off.
I can do the VTA one.
Okay. And then can I float and like go to,
Volunteer,
yeah,
not asking you to commit to anything.
yeah, so. You'll provide the links and then we.
Yeah.
I can't commit completely because my schedule is consistent, just like with everyone else. But I am interested in the recycling and waste reduction commission.
Great,
So I'll try to make as many as I can.
beautiful. And I think that the Valley Water one is the one that it meets very sporadically. It's like, although sometimes they meet on the last Monday or the first Monday, and I would say like a third of them looked like they got canceled. So maybe not the best, and if we have a drought, then we can pivot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can replace with the air quality, whatever
Oh, yeah.
you have.
If it makes sense, if it makes sense.
I can send information about the air quality one too.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll send the list and then we can kind of calendar the noise.
The thing I realized is that like water gets a lot of attention. And this is just, I'm just throwing out, I don't have an opinion on it. I just noticed that water has a lot of attention and a lot of people forget about like waste and air quality.
Mhm.
Even in college classes, like 1/3 of my classes were just focused on like water quality, water management, wastewater. So yeah, it's very interesting.
San Jose State has a really robust program on
Yeah.
climate change and air, so.
It's important. Yeah.
The water is money.
Water's my yes, and it takes a lot of space too.
Well, yeah,
That's real
air, you
estate.
can't live.
But you don't have to pay for it. You can breathe it whether it's good or bad.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, so I don't think there's any motion, we've got a list of volunteers. Okay, so I guess future agenda setting, let's move on to future agenda setting. Finally, we have future agenda setting. Does any member of the commission wish to add an item or remove an item from, we don't have anything on the future agenda. Do you want to add anything on the list?
So probably she is going to do.
Yeah.
That's this.
Okay,
Yeah. So
all right.
unless there's anything that immediately came in the last 20 minutes. Great.
All right, good, so we'll add that. All right, and then. Can we adjourn the meeting?
We can run a meeting.
Okay, I adjourn this meeting at 5:19 p.m. on Tuesday, July 17th.